Superstorm Milton makes landfall, causing heavy rain once in 1,000 years in the US. The image of the giant waves, to more than 8.5 meters in the Gulf of Mexico, caused by Hurricane Milton. That's the outstanding information. Will be in our international messaging cluster today. Following will be the details. Super Typhoon Milton is considered the strongest in the world. It landed in the state of Florida on 9:10 local time, and it's ravaging the western part of the United States. The storm hit Florida with grade by intensity accompanied by heavy rain. Strong winds and tornadoes caused damage in many areas. According to the U.S. National Weather Service, Hurricane Milton hits Florida at level with winds below 200 km/h. It's downgraded to a Category 2 storm, with winds of about 177 km/h. Storm range. It's about 32 kilometers northeast of Sarasota, though the impact of the storm is still considered very dangerous. According to the U.S. National Weather Service, in just 3 hours, when the heaviest rain of Superstorm Milton, landing in the Tampa Bay area, rainfall recorded in the city of St. Petersburg, the state of Florida, is about 230 millimeters. That's the average rainfall of 3 months. This is the rain. It is estimated that there is one in this city in 1,000 years. According to CNN, the city of Mios in Florida has begun to see the worst flooding when Hurricane Milton causes a tidal surge in this area. The U.S. National Weather Service also warned that the big flash flood is happening, or it's expected to happen soon, and there's a risk of life-threatening effects. Min. Meanwhile, Blue Bullet Lucy. It's on the Atlantic coast of Florida. Many people have died after the tornado hit this area. Officials in Martin County say the area has recorded a number of injuries. 10 houses were damaged when Super Typhoon Milton made landfall with strong winds, heavy rain, and tornadoes. Local officials recommend people should not go out. Martin County Sheriff's Office has also implemented a county-wide curfew from 21:00 local time until 6:00 M10:10. The weather conditions will get worse. In the night, more than 1 million homes and businesses in Florida suffered a power outage. Director of State Emergency Management, that Kevin Guthrie, said, special forces have arrived in Florida to support the response. Areas that have been damaged by tornadoes. Mr. Guthrie, I urge people to seek shelter immediately and protect yourself with household items. At Tampa and areas of central and western Florida, the wind is dangerous, up to 160 to 170 km/h. While the streets were flooded with floodwaters, the wind has knocked down many trees and can blow away vehicles parked on the side of the road. According to meteorological analyst Chad Meyer, the storm's eye is moving east. It's going through the central part of Florida. What this means is, though the eye of the storm may be moving out of areas near the shore, but an external converging band will still be moving across the Tampa Bay area for hours, with strong winds and heavy rain. In the context, Hurricane Milton is hitting Florida, us with winds up to 209 km/h. A video recorded by Atmospheric and Ocean Management Agency, United States of America. NOAA show giant waves in the Gulf of Mexico as Hurricane Milton headed for Florida on 9:10 local time. 9:10 US time, on the morning of October 10th Vietnam time. Storm Milton. It's just off the west coast of the state of Florida. Cause a tornado and hit this area with rain and wind before it's expected to make landfall near Tampa Bay, according to the U.S. National Hurricane Center. Although Milton weakened slightly on the evening of the 9th, October downgraded to B level, 3rd degree in a 5-level scale. But the storm is still expanding as we approach the state of Florida, and it's still a very dangerous big storm, with only a maximum wind of over 200 kilometers per hour. The storm can cause ocean waves to rise from 2.7 to 4 meters in some areas, and rain from 150 to 300 millimeters, with rainfall that can be up to 450 millimeters in some places. The storm is growing fast. 3rd in the history of the Atlantic, has created giant waves that are 8.57 meters high, and the gale force winds in the Gulf of Mexico. With what's happened so far, Storm Milton threatened to engulf low-lying areas in Florida, with waves of life-threatening encroachment. The wind power of this tropical storm, it also covers the entire width of the Florida peninsula, and it extends from Miami to the Savannah. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said, at least 19 tornadoes have hit Florida, and 116 tornado alerts across the state. Mr. DeSantis said, the government has issued 9 flash flood warnings. Floods, and there will be more warnings issued. More than a comma. 1 million households, families and businesses have lost power, mostly in Sarasota County. Power outages are expected to increase as the storm moves across the state. The U.S. National Weather Service has warned the big flash flood is happening, dangerous to human life. Many roads in South Korea have not been able to move due to flooding, but recorded rainfall of 254 to 355 millimeters. The city has declared a flash flood emergency, highest flood warning level, according to the U.S. Hurricane Center. This agency is monitoring 3 other systems in the Atlantic. A new storm is likely to form in 48 hours. Next, the gate to enter the North Garage area. Most have closed for humanitarian and trade activities. Push the people in this area at the risk of severe hunger. Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs of the United Nations, 9:10 said, in recent days, the Israeli authorities have once again ordered for more than 400,000 people. It is located in the northern part of Gardi Garage. The garage has to move south. Meanwhile, Israel is also tightening its restrictions, access and expansion of military operations in the north, the same Palestinian territories. Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs of the United Nations emphasized that the agency continues to be deeply concerned about the situation in the northern areas of the garage. According to the Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs of the United Nations, the gate to enter the North Garage area, it has been largely closed to humanitarian activities as well as trade. While the checkpoints are inside the garage, it only allows civilians to move south and allows some amount of dripping humanitarian aid to the northern region. Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs of the United Nations, warning that these developments are causing the basic services of the people here must stop working in turn. Meanwhile, according to the United Nations Relief and Works Agency, for Palestinian refugees. 7 schools in the area. It's used as a shelter for refugees. They are also moving, and there's only 2 of the 8 wells left. In the Japanese refugee camp, it works. People in northern Gaza are facing starvation. It's very serious. On the same day, the US State Department announced, Express, we are deeply concerned about the humanitarian situation in Gaza, especially in the northern part of the Palestinian territories. The Palestinian Ministry of Health said at least 4 Palestinians were killed, shot by Israeli troops in the city of Nablus, north of the West Coast. The conflict in the Middle East is unfolding. Israel and Hezbollah, they're constantly attacking each other. 8:10, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. It's killed thousands of Hezbollahs, including the leader Hassan Nasrallah. And who can replace this person? At the same time warning, the ICE could face destruction, just like Karina. In the statement made in the speech, the video was sent to the Lebanese, posting on social networks. Ex-Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, said that the country's airstrikes killed 2 people, likely to succeed the Hezbollah leader, emphasized that Hezbollah is now much weaker compared to many years ago. This is a message to the Lebanese people. Do you remember when your country was called a jewel of the Middle East or not? I still remember that. But what's happening at the present time with the iceberg? An armed group destroyed it. Levi was once known for tolerance and with my own beauty. Then today, it's a chaotic and warlike place. Israel withdrew its troops from Lebanon 25 years ago. But the country that controls Lebanon is not Israel. That's Iran. Iran is a country funded and armed the Hezbollah to serve their interests on the basis of ICE, turned the ICE into an arsenal of weapons and ammunition, as well as a forward Iranian military base. Just one day after the 7/11 massacre, Hezbollah joined the war against Israel. They launched an unprovoked attack into the cities and our citizens. Since then, they fired more than 8,000 missiles at Israel. It killed thousands of people. It's not racist. Israel has decided to end this. We decided to do whatever it took to get our people back home safely. Israel has the right to defend itself. They also have the right to win. Israel will surely win. We've weakened the Hezbollah's ability, has killed thousands of its fighters. That includes their leaders, as well as his replacement. It may also have been removed. Today, Ashla is much weaker than it has been in years. Now you guys, people of the ICE, was standing at an important crossroads. It's your own choice. You can take back your country. We can get it back on track. Peace and prosperity. Otherwise, Hezbollah will continue to try to fight against Israel from populated areas. And it's going to happen all over your country. I know you want a better future. For my children, there's a better way for your children, for the cities, villages, and for your own country. You deserve it. Are the ones who restored Lebanon about its inherent peaceful days. You have a chance that didn't exist for 10 years. A chance to care for their children's future and my own grandson. You have a chance to save the ICE before it falls into the abyss of a long war. It leads to destruction and suffering, as we've seen in old chickens. It doesn't have to be that way. Each one for you. You can take a step for your future. Even if it's just a small step, you can all make a difference. I want to talk to you about the Lebanese people. Free your country from Hla, so that this war can end. Free your country from Hla, so that your country can grow again. To future generations of children of Lebanon and Israel, I don't know about war or bloodshed. That, in the end, we can all live together in peace. Warning from the Prime Minister of Israel: not a home is given, as the Israeli military deploys more soldiers to the and order for people in the southern coastal areas and the suburbs south of Beirut to evacuate. 8:10 of the Israeli military said the intense airstrikes targeting the underground facilities of Hezbollah in southern Lebanon in 24 hours ago. At least 50 Hezbollah fighters were killed. It includes 6 regional commanders and regional officials. Israel has launched an attack on Lebanon, almost a year after the start of the Hezbollah fire. Hezbollah confirmed their attacks are to support the Palestinians. In Gaza, 8:10 vice leader of the Hezbollah, Naim Qassem, announced Israel will not be able to return to the north